Prologue, the whisper in the dark. It begins with you, not someone else, not a stranger far away. You have felt it before, haven't you? That strange pull in the silence of the night, when your own thoughts feel heavier than the air around you. The clock ticks differently, shadows move with intention, and you sense that your story is already written in heaven, though here on earth you struggle to read the words. What if I told you that the very moment you press play on this story, something divine reached for you? That this is not entertainment. It is a message written for your soul, carried across eternity, waiting for this exact instant. And so it begins, a tale of destiny, comparison, and the relentless pursuit of consistency. A tale where God himself speaks, where Jesus walks in visions, and where Archangel Michael raises his sword to cut through the illusions clouding your mind. Daniel had always lived inside comparisons. From his earliest memory, he saw himself not as who he was, but as who he wasn't. His brother was smarter, his cousin richer, his friends more charismatic. Every achievement he reached was measured against another man's height, and in this arithmetic of the soul, he always came up short. One evening, unable to sleep, he walked the empty streets of a city. The neon lights glowed against puddles, stretching into distorted reflections. He felt as though the world was mocking him with infinite versions of himself, some taller, some stronger, all better. And then, in the faint hum of the silence, a voice pierced through his despair. Comparison is the thief of destiny. Daniel stopped cold. The voice was not from the street. It was not from his own thoughts. It carried a weight too vast, too eternal. He whispered, "Who's there?" A warmth touched the back of his neck, not frightening, but protective. "It is I. Do not fear. Your path cannot be stolen. Walk forward, for I am with you." Daniel gasped, falling to his knees. It was Jesus. But before he could speak, a sudden chill passed, and the street light above him flickered into darkness. The next morning, Daniel woke with a heavy sense of unreality. Had he imagined it? Was it a dream? When he walked into his kitchen, he froze. On the wooden table was an envelope. No return address. His name written in a delicate, almost ancient hand. Inside, a single sheet of parchment. Destiny cannot be taken away, but consistency is the key to unlock it. Stop comparing your seed to another's harvest. His heart pounded. He turned the letter over. Nothing. He ran to the window. No one in sight. Suddenly, a deep voice spoke within him. Not loud, not external, but resounding in the core of his being. "This is for you, Daniel. This is the first of many. Archangel Michael." He knew it. Somehow he knew. But why him? That Sunday, Daniel went to the old stone church at the corner of the city. He hadn't stepped inside in years. The candles flickered as he entered, and the wooden pews smelled of time itself. As the choir sang softly, he noticed a man sitting alone in the last row. Tall, with eyes that carried centuries. Daniel sat beside him, though his chest tightened with unease. The man turned and said calmly, "You think you've been forgotten, but destiny cannot be replaced. It waits for you." Daniel's throat went dry. Who are you?" The man smiled faintly. "A messenger, nothing more." But Daniel recognized the hidden light in his eyes. He was not merely a man. He was Michael in human form. Before Daniel could question further, the man stood, placed a firm hand on his shoulder, and whispered, "Comparison chains you. Consistency frees you. You must choose which master you serve." And then, as though swallowed by the choir's final hymn, the stranger vanished. That night, Daniel dreamed. He stood in a vast desert beneath a starless sky. A single flame burned on the horizon. He walked toward it, but with every step, shadows rose from the sand, tall figures whispering lies. "You are behind. You will never be enough. Others are chosen, not you." Their voices clawed at his spirit. He fell to his knees, covering his ears. Then, from above, a sword of blazing fire descended, cutting through the shadows in a single strike. Archangel Michael appeared, his wings stretching beyond the desert itself. "Rise, Daniel," he commanded. "Stop measuring yourself against man. Measure yourself only against obedience to God." Your consistency is worship. Your destiny is sealed. The shadows shrieked and dissolved into sand. The flame grew brighter, and in its center stood Jesus, robed in white, eyes filled with eternity. Jesus spoke, "Walk with me, child, for I walk with you." Daniel awoke drenched in tears. The dream was not a dream. It was a summons. In the basement of his late grandfather's house, Daniel discovered an old leather-bound journal. Dust clung to it like forgotten time. Inside were notes, prayers, and visions, his grandfather's words, yet strangely familiar. One passage caught his breath. "There will come a day when my grandson will be called by name. He will wrestle with comparison, but heaven will send letters and visions to awaken him. He must remain consistent, for his destiny is written in fire." Daniel's hand shook. His grandfather had died years before Daniel was even born. How could he have written this? And yet, the words were clear. This was not coincidence. This was prophecy. One evening, rain lashed the windows as thunder roared. Daniel sat alone, reading the journal by candlelight. Suddenly, the flame bent violently, though no draft was in the room. The candle extinguished. Darkness swallowed everything. Lightning flashed, illuminating a figure standing at the far end of the room. Not Michael, not Jesus. Something else. Something darker. The figure whispered in a voice that slithered into his bones. "Your destiny is a lie. Others will always surpass you. Stop resisting. Surrender." Daniel's chest seized with terror. He wanted to collapse. But in the next instant, a fierce light filled the room, an unbearable brilliance. Archangel Michael appeared, sword blazing, wings unfurled. He raised his voice like thunder. "Begone, deceiver. This one's destiny is sealed by the blood of Christ." The dark figure shrieked and vanished into smoke. Daniel fell to the ground, trembling. Michael knelt beside him, his presence both fierce and comforting. "Do not compare, Daniel. Do not surrender. Destiny is not a race. It is a covenant. Keep walking." The next morning, another letter appeared on Daniel's table. This one written in red ink, glowing faintly as though alive. "Destiny cannot be taken away. Your only enemy is inconsistency. One step, then another, then another. This is how heaven moves mountains." Daniel clutched the letter to his chest. It was not paper. It was life itself. But one night, while brushing his teeth, he looked into the mirror, and the reflection did not move with him. It stared back, whispering, "You will fail again. You always do. Comparison is stronger than you." Daniel's knees buckled. He pressed his hands against the sink, refusing to look away. Then, in the reflection, another figure appeared behind him, Jesus himself. The mirror Jesus placed a hand on Daniel's shoulder, and the voice of despair shattered into silence. Jesus spoke gently, "Child, you're mine. You're not measured by the world. You're measured by love. Stay the course. Consistency is your worship." Tears streamed down Daniel's face. For the first time, he believed. Weeks passed, and Daniel's life began to change. Opportunities appeared, doors opened. Yet with every step forward, whispers of comparison clawed back at him. One night, in his dream, he stood again in the desert. But this time, the flame was closer. The shadows returned, greater in number, surrounding him. They chanted in unison, "You will never arrive. You are too late. Others are chosen." Daniel fell to his knees, exhausted. But then he remembered Michael's words. He remembered Jesus' hand on his shoulder. He remembered his grandfather's journal. Through trembling lips, he whispered, "My destiny cannot be taken away. My only task is consistency." At that declaration, the shadows howled and dissolved into ash. The flame expanded into a river of light, and from it stepped Jesus, radiant and sovereign. He lifted Daniel to his feet and spoke. "Now you understand. Destiny is not earned by comparison, but revealed by persistence. You are mine, and I will never let you go." Daniel awoke at dawn. The sky outside burned gold with sunrise. On his table, one final letter awaited him. "You who listen now, this story is not Daniel's alone. It is yours. Stop comparing. Embrace consistency. Destiny cannot be taken from you. It was written in heaven long before you were born. Trust in God. Walk with Jesus. Stand under Michael's protection. Your path is secure. Daniel read it aloud. And as he did, he felt the presence of heaven itself filling his room. And perhaps, as you listen, you feel it too. This story was not random. It was not fiction. It was a sign. Epilogue, the voice to you. Now, the voice turns to you, the listener. Child, do you see? This message was waiting only for you. Stop comparing your journey to another's. Walk consistently in faith, in prayer, in small steps. Your destiny is eternal, sealed by the one who made you. Nothing can take it away. And as the final words echo, you realize this was not just Daniel's story. It was yours. This is not an accident. Out of the thousands of voices you could have chosen, out of the endless noise of this world, your eyes have landed here. And that means something more than chance. It means you were called. There's a reason you feel heavy when you wake. A reason shadows sometimes follow you through the day, whispering doubts into your heart. You have fought battles that no one knows, battles that exhausted your mind and spirit. And yet, you are still here. But you must know this. Every morning is more than routine. Every dawn is a battlefield. When you rise, unseen forces rise with you. Some seek to harm, others to protect. That is why heaven has drawn you here, to place upon you a shield, a covering of divine protection that no enemy can pierce. Listen closely now. These are not just words, not just a story. These are affirmations written in heaven long before you were born. They are a shield forged in prayer, carried by the hand of God, sealed by the blood of Jesus, and guarded by Archangel Michael himself. And as you breathe these words, you will feel it, the armor of light surrounding you. You will sense the presence of angels in the quiet corners of your room. You will know, without doubt, that you're not walking into this day unprotected. Child of God, this is your moment. This is the morning when the shadows lose their hold. This is the hour when your shield rises. Welcome to the prayer that was waiting only for you. The world was still asleep. The clock on the wall read 4:03 a.m. outside. The city lay in silence, its streets wrapped in fog, its windows dim and lifeless. Yet inside your room, you were awake, though you could not explain why. Something stirred you from sleep, something heavier than a dream, more deliberate than an accident. Your chest rose with a deep, unsettled breath. A sense of weight lingered over you, as if invisible eyes had been watching all night. You turned your head toward the window, half expecting to see a figure in the mist. Nothing, just the outline of the bare tree swaying against the glass. Still, you could not shake the feeling. And then it came. A whisper, not from outside, not even from within your own thoughts, but from the very air that surrounded you. Rise. The word carried a force that jolted your spirit. You sat up, heart pounding. The room looked ordinary. Your bed, your desk, the faint hum of the ceiling fan, but nothing felt ordinary anymore. You knew, in the depths of your being, that heaven had just spoken. Your eyes shifted to the small wooden table beside your bed. And that's when you saw it. An envelope. It hadn't been there last night. You were certain of it. Its surface was ivory white, untouched by dust, and your name was written across it in a script so delicate it seemed alive. With trembling hands, you picked it up and tore it open. Inside was a single line, written in ink that shimmered faintly like liquid light. When you rise, so does the shield. Your breath caught. A warmth spread across your chest, but alongside it came a surge of fear. What shield? Why you? Was this letter a trick of your restless mind? Or had something, someone, placed it here while you slept? Before doubt could consume you, the whisper returned, firmer this time. This is not imagination. This is instruction. You clutched the letter to your chest. The weight of it was strange, heavier than paper, as though the words themselves carried substance. And then your room shifted. It wasn't the walls or the furniture. It was the atmosphere itself. The air thickened, pressing gently against your skin. You knew instinctively, You were no longer alone. A faint glow spread in the corner of the room, subtle at first, then brighter, until it took the shape of a figure. Tall, radiant, clothed not in cloth but in light. Archangel Michael. His presence filled the room like thunder wrapped in silence. He spoke, his voice like the strike of a sword against stone, yet tender enough to soothe a wounded heart. Do not fear. This morning is different. This morning, you will receive your shield. Your lips parted, but no words came. You wanted to ask, why me? What is happening? But your voice was lost inside the awe that consumed you. Michael extended his hand. From it flowed light, weaving patterns in the air that formed symbols you could not recognize. Yet your soul understood. Each mark seemed to pulse with protection, with power, with divine authority. And then, from the very center of the light, another voice emerged. Softer, familiar, eternal. Jesus, child, you rise not into emptiness, but into covenant. Every dawn is a battle, but you are not sent into it unarmed. These words you will hear, this prayer you will speak, will be your armor. Believe, and it will clothe you. Doubt, and you leave yourself exposed. Tears now filled your eyes. You whispered, I choose, but your voice broke. Michael's presence grew stronger, like a fortress surrounding you. He declared, then let the shield begin. At that instant, the candle on your table lit itself, though you had not touched it. The flame danced wildly, casting shadows across the walls. But these were no ordinary shadows. They twisted, hissed, recoiled as though burned. Darkness was fleeing. Your heart thundered, and you realized you were standing at the edge of something greater than yourself. A 10-minute prayer was not just prayer. It was warfare. It was protection. It was a shield forged by heaven itself. The letter in your hand glowed brighter. You read the words again, but this time they sank into your spirit like fire. When you rise, so does the shield. And in that moment, you knew today would not be like yesterday. The world outside was still asleep, but you had been awakened, called, chosen. The silent hour had passed. The battle was about to begin. The candle flickered as though aware of unseen winds. You were still clutching the letter, its glow merging with the trembling flame. The whisper of Jesus had not faded. It lingered in your soul like an echo that reshaped itself into thought. You felt drawn to kneel, not by force, but by an irresistible invitation. And when your knees touched the ground, words rose from your lips unbidden, as though someone else guided your breath. Father, I rise under your light. I rise not alone, but within your shield. Cover me with the blood of Christ, and let no darkness touch me this day. The words shocked you. They were not memorized. They were not yours. Yet they poured out with such conviction, it felt as if heaven itself was speaking through you. And then, Archangel Michael's voice broke the silence. This is how the shield forms. Every word is a stone. Every prayer is a wall. Speak, and the fortress will rise. Your eyes closed, and in the stillness, images formed, not of your room, but of a vast battlefield stretching to the horizon. Shadows ride like armies, faceless and countless. And yet, before you, a shimmering dome of light expanded, its brilliance cutting through the darkness. You realized your prayer was shaping this shield. But suddenly, the vision shifted. The battlefield collapsed, and you were back in your room. The candle's flame elongated unnaturally, twisting until it pointed toward the mirror on the far wall. Your reflection stared back. But it wasn't you. Not entirely. Its eyes were darker. Its lips curled in a smirk. The reflection leaned forward and whispered words you did not speak. Prayer won't save you. You're still weak. A chill ran down your spine. Your reflection's voice was venomous, mocking, crawling under your skin. You almost believed it, until another voice thundered across your soul. Silence, deceiver. The mirror cracked, a thin fracture slicing through the false reflection. Michael appeared again, standing tall between you and the glass. His sword gleamed with blinding light. Every morning, the enemy will test your faith. He comes first as doubt. Crush him with truth. You gasped, realizing the battle was not outside. It was within. Still trembling, you leaned back, clutching your chest. And then a gentler voice entered, so soft, yet so undeniable it stilled the storm within you. God, child, I know your fear, but the enemy fears me. Call my name and watch him scatter. Tears broke free from your eyes. For the first time, you felt not just faith, but certainty, the kind that burns through doubt like fire through dry wood. You whispered, God is with me. God is with me. The reflection in the mirror shrieked, fractured further, and finally shattered into nothingness. The pieces evaporated like smoke. The shield glowed stronger. The letter in your hand dissolved into pure radiance, swirling around you until it settled over your shoulders like a cloak. It wasn't fabric, it was presence. Warm, alive. You could almost hear it breathe. Michael raised his sword in salute. The cloak of prayer rests upon you. With it, you will walk unseen by the shadows. Jesus' voice followed, deep and tender. Every word you speak in this hour builds this cloak. Do not rush. Do not doubt. The enemy fears a believer who knows they are clothed in heaven. And with each word, your breath grew steadier. You were beginning to believe, not just in God, but that you had been chosen for this very hour. But then, beneath your bed, you noticed something strange. Another envelope. This one black. You reached for it with trembling fingers. The paper felt cold, almost wet. On the front, in jagged letters, it read, Stop praying or pay the price. Your hand shook. You knew this was no accident. The enemy was aware. But before fear overtook you, Jesus' voice echoed once more. The enemy threatens what he cannot defeat. Do not stop. Continue, and you will see his chains break. With trembling resolve, you ripped the letter into pieces. Instantly, the candle's flame surged higher, burning brighter than before. The shield strengthened. Your lips moved again, this time guided like a stream flowing from a hidden spring. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I am covered by the blood of the Lamb. I am unseen by the eyes of darkness, and guarded by the sword of Michael. As you prayed, the room changed. Walls melted away, revealing a river of light flowing endlessly. Each word you spoke became a stone in the river, paving a golden bridge ahead. Michael's wings unfurled, covering you like a canopy. You walk not alone, he declared. Heaven walks with you. Suddenly, the air grew colder. Shadows surged again, thicker this time, circling around you like predators. A voice hissed from the darkness. Your shield is fragile. One doubt, one slip, and we enter. But before you could respond, Jesus spoke through you. The Lord is my shield and fortress. My heart will not fear. At those words, light erupted from your body, bursting outward in a radiant wave. The shadows screamed and dissolved into ash. The shield now stood complete, a dome of living fire around you. Silence followed, a silence deeper than night. And then God's voice filled it, steady and infinite. Child, you feared you were alone, but heaven rose with you. Every dawn you pray, the shield will rise. Not just for you, but for all you love. Visions flash before your eyes, your family, your friends, even strangers, each touched by the same shield of light flowing from your prayer. Michael lowered his sword, his eyes glowing like molten gold. You have received what was promised. But know this, tomorrow, and every morning after, you must rise again. For the shield is not built once, but daily. He raised his hand, blessing you, and then his figure faded, leaving only the candle's gentle flame. The room was quiet again, ordinary again, yet you knew nothing would ever be the same. The letter's words pulsed inside you. When you rise, so does the shield. You looked at your own reflection in the broken mirror. This time, it was truly you. And for the first time in years, your face glowed with peace. And then, one last whisper from heaven. This story was not a story. It was a message for you. Rise tomorrow, and I will rise with you. The candle flickered out. Morning sunlight broke through the window. The shield was ready, and so were you.